I got a 2012 Malibu in here. Just pulling a code. Camshaft position p0010. Right now the check engine light's not on. It was on a week ago. She says it keeps turning on and off. So this thing's kind of working, I'm sure. First thing you want to do is take this cover off. And if you look down in this crack, you can barely see it. There's a screw down there. They put that crack in there so you can see that screw when you stick a screwdriver down in there on this side. You stick it down this way. There's a little right there. There's a screw in there. Come on. There it is. You want to take that screw off. And then take this clamp off. Take this screw off. Pull this hose out of the way, and it pretty much pops right off. Intake exhaust. This is a p0010 and I think this is a p0020. So this is the one that's got the problem. These little clips, you push in the center and it pops up where it's supposed to. Oh, lost that one. I'm going to unplug both of these. Oh, wow. And the reason why I'm going to unplug both of these is because I'm going to ohm them out. You're going to break out your voltmeter, set it to ohms. I'm going to make sure it works too. Oops. Touch them two wires, goes to 0. It works. We should be about 16 and it's hot. Yeah, there's two pins. You just want to put one on one pin and one on the other. The reason why I'm doing both is just because they're supposed to get the same reading. And I don't know exactly what it is because I haven't looked it up. So I'm just testing one versus the other. That one's right at 13.3 ohms and the other one's at like 16, which is fine. They're close. The coil windings are gonna work. What's going on with my meter? Probably cold. Yeah, that one's almost 14 ohms. The exhaust one and the intake one on the front is at 16. So yeah, it's actually testing out good. Might have a different problem. There's two 10mm bolts. There's one, one bolt for each one. I'm going to take this bolt out of here. This thing should just pull straight out. Okay. It's going to be oily. One thing you want to look for, you want to make sure this isn't all cruddied up with, see, there's a little chunk of carbon right here. Where'd it go? Fell away. But yeah, this screen, you want to make sure it's not all cruddied up. If somebody doesn't change the oil enough, it can plug up this screen and then not work. So it looks fine. Yeah, I think I'm just going to throw a part at it. If the car doesn't think there's anything wrong with the car, I'm not going to find anything wrong. So sometimes these coils, the coil windings in here are fine. You ohm it out and it's okay. But there might be a mechanical problem with this where the pull-in winding doesn't pull in the solenoid sometimes. It'll energize it and it'll stick. That can happen. I can bench test it too. Okay, I'm going to try to find something wrong with this solenoid. Even if I don't, I'm going to replace it anyways, but just for peace of mind. I always make a habit of saving old connectors and wires and taking them apart so I can use them for testing stuff. I got a power probe here. If you feel like doing this stuff this way, you can just use a couple of wires and hook them up to a battery, 12 volts. Power probe, I always use this thing. It's telling me right here that with that green light, it's telling me that it's got continuity, meaning that the coil windings are working. So it's making a circuit. And I can hear it clicking. What I'm waiting for is to hear it not click. If I'm lucky, I'll hit it and it won't click once. It's working. Wow. Every time. Yeah, once in a while, you know, if these have intermittent problems, you'll energize it. And sooner or later, you won't hear it do anything. Oh wow, you can see a little spring in there moving. This car might have a different problem. Something other than this solenoid. Well, normally I'd put the thing back together and tell them to bring it back when it has a real problem so I can figure it out. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to throw a part at it anyways. At least I told you how to diagnose this damn thing. If it was my car, I would probably just slap this thing back in here and wait for a code and then try to figure out what's going on with it. I don't know. It's my niece's car. I'm just going to do it. Basically, I'm just going to clean this outside of this hole just a little bit. Try not to get anything to drop in the hole. It's a hard thing to do sometimes. I got a nice new solenoid with a nice new bolt. Stick my finger in there because I get a little oil for this O-ring. Just a little bit of oil. They changed the bolt size on me. This one's an 8mm. Comes with a new bolt. I'm going to use it. Yeah, that was the factory solenoid for this too. Plug these back in. Put the child-proof clip back in here. You don't really need those things. Yeah, I found it. It was under the car. The wiring looks okay from right here. I'm seeing bad spots. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to let it go like that, and if she's got a problem again, I'm going to have to dig a little deeper. That's how you replace one, and that's how you test one. Yeah, if you don't find a problem with yours, you might end up doing the same thing I do, just throw a part at it. You don't have to, though. I mean, like I say, the car thinks it's fine. It's working right now, so I shouldn't find a problem with it. Yeah, normally I stick by the old model, the old motto, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But this is my niece's car, and I'm cheap labor, so... A lot of times too, for the amount of time you spend diagnosing a car and screwing around, sometimes it's just best to spend a couple of bucks and just throw a part at it. So that's what I'm doing. Yep, low oil and infrequent oil changes can do that, pull that code too. The first thing I did was check the oil, and it's fine. And the reason why I say infrequent oil changes is because you can get the engine real filthy. You'll know when you look at that screen. There was a little bit of carbon on there, but it wasn't plugged up. I looked at the freeze frame data too. It didn't tell me anything. She was at part throttle at 45 miles an hour, and it pulled a code. That's all I know. Okay, this thing's done. Hopefully it won't come back.